and D, what are 5 or 6 key attributes you look for in quarterbacks? Arm strength, accuracy, running ability, vision. Rank the 3 quarterbacks that Notre Dame is chasing in each of these attributes. I think this is for the 2026 class.
Oh, yeah, the 2026 guys. Yeah. I would say that, 5 or 6, that's a lot of attributes, right?
Well, it's on the film, it's hard to judge this stuff. What are the first couple things that you're looking for?
Accuracy, definitely. Like you just want to see, and I'm not even talking about like, you can look at the stats and say, I'm not saying it doesn't matter if some guy completes 70% and the other guy completes, 55%. Yeah, it does matter. But when you see someone put it on, guys, like you're like, oh, he hits that guy in stride, or like that ball needed to be low and away, and that was the only spot he could put it, and that's where he put it. Like that kind of stuff, definitely. So accuracy in terms of like ball placement, that's big. Like pocket presence. So how comfortable they are against the rush, like movement within the pocket, being able to step up, being able to slide, being able to escape the rush, create, improvise. So like that's kind of goes hand in hand with running ability, right? Because I don't like guys who are just like strict pocket guys, because there's just, how many guys are Tom Brady? Everybody, I know of course anyone would take Tom Brady, but it's like, well, there's only been one Tom Brady, who's basically, not a runner at all, but he could navigate, and he had just unbelievable awareness and ability to move and shift and avoid in the pocket, that, an understanding of his protections and all that kind of stuff. So that's really hard to see with some of these guys too, because so much of it, especially if you don't get to watch games and you only see highlights, like that's very tough to see, because a lot of times it's like, man, this pocket is, squeaky clean. Like there's just no one even getting a sniff of it close to this guy. So I think that's something that, I would say, like how they handle, and that like kind of how they handle adversity within a play. I think that is something there. Like, yeah, arm talent, it matters for sure, but like touch, because if someone's always throwing fastballs, that's not good either, right? So it's just like, you want to see touch when it's required, right? How they throw the deep ball, all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't. It's tough to kind of rank all these things too, because one guy might be elite at something and another guy might just be like good at something else. So you have to kind of just judge. So you can't just say like accuracy is the most important if one guy's just like elite accuracy and the other guy's good, but the other guy does all of these other things so much better, right? It's you have to weigh all of those things. I would say out of the 2026 guys, and I don't know if you've watched all of them yet, Greg, or the 3 guys that he's talking about, Grubbs, Hart, and Troy Hume, right? Noah Grubbs, Brady Hart, and Troy Hume.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 kind of like quote unquote top guys for Notre Dame right now. I would say, Grubbs is the big armed pocket guy. Certainly he makes probably, if you'd say like the most impressive throws in like terms of like this guy's fitting it in a tight window and this is really like ripping it. He's kind of the most impressive there, and he's the biggest guy. He's like 225 pounds. Like he's a big guy, 6'4", 220. Like he's a big dude, but he's not a runner. He's not a runner, and you see an awful lot of clean pockets with him, just in terms of what you see for the most part. So it's like, I'm always wary of that, right? And Hune is a good athlete, pretty mobile, can run, not really like a dual threat. None of these guys are true dual threats. None of them are Deuce Knights, that's for sure. But like they're, Hune is great touch, throws with good anticipation. Just another guy who's like good size, like really good size. I mean, they all have good height and all that too. There's nothing to worry about there. But he's, you know, big hands, a guy who can really like not rip it when he not like totally rip it, but above average arm. And there's a lot of things like about him in terms of like his just balance and it is just mechanically he's very sound. And just and then I would say that Hart is the guy that I like the most because I think he's kind of like the best combination of all those guys in terms of like he might not have the same level of arm talent as Grubbs, but you can see him really like fit it in like into tight windows because of anticipation. And also you see him go like Grubbs, a lot of one read stuff. I mean, Hart, you see him go through progressions, look off safeties, and when he's going to his second progression, it's like his mechanics don't go to crap, you know, like some of these other guys. Like he's very sound that way. He's also can escape. He can run. He's not like a true dual threat, but he's a lot like Angeli in terms of like he can. If you want him to get a first down, he can get you a first down, right? Like, and he's the skinniest of them all. But you know, I wouldn't worry about him kind of adding the weight eventually. I also too, I think he's just the best athlete. And I think too, just like maybe before you wouldn't value the athlete part of it as much, but I just think that's just so important now. Like, especially
now that Denbrock's around.
Yeah, but even just in general, I just think like, name me the last like true like. Look at the quarterbacks that are in this draft right now that are like going to be the first round picks, the top guys, right? Who's like the one that is like the least athletic of the group? Like
probably Penix.
Mike Penix, and he's a freak athlete. The guy ran a 4.55 today, right? Like, he's a good athlete, right? So they're all good athletes. And it's kind of a prerequisite now. You have to be able to run. You have to be able to move. You have to be able to escape, you know? And if you can't do that, you're kind of dead in the NFL and in college, like, unless you're just so good at everything else. So, and that's why I would lean Hart, because I just think he's the best athlete of them all. And it's just for me, you know, out of that group, I like him the most.
Yeah, I'm always looking for, like you said, finding, being able to place the ball under pressure, making quick decisions, you know, when it's dirty. Like anyone can stand back there and scan, right? But like, what do you do when the clock is ticking? What do you do when you have to get the ball out under 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And this was something that I was super impressed by with CJ Carr. We got some full game film of him against like a defense that was just bearing down on him constantly. They could not block them at all. He had no time, and they had to get the ball out, and he had to make a decision quickly, and he continually made the correct decision, and B, the ball was exactly where it was supposed to be. It's like time after time after time. This is a playoff game. They ended up losing, but they put up like 42 points. Like he had a great game when he had to have it. And so when, like, man, you show me that trait, like that is, for me, that's the one, right? And obviously you want to have like all of the arm strength stuff, and accuracy is always important, right? But like being able to process and being able to make quick decisions kind of under pressure, like, to me, that's the biggest thing. And that's what I'm looking for out of everybody. So, and you would know best about those quarterbacks. I try to stay within the recruiting class that Notre Dame's in. Going off into 2026, it's just like that's hard for me to do. Like Jamie's much better.
It's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, they've already offered over 100 guys in 2026. I can be honest. I haven't watched the majority of them. Right? Like I still got to put out a Fab 50 for the 2025 class because I still haven't watched several of the top guys in 2025. So but with Rajon says it's good to hear about Carr. Yeah, I mean. There's kind of like a big debate in the industry about like, is he, On3 had a really low grade on him or low rating on him.
as soon as I saw that game, I was like, you know what? I'm good. Because I knew all the other stuff. I knew he had all the other attributes. But when I saw him perform like that under pressure, I was like, I'm sold. I don't really need to see anything else. So that's where I came out with that.